Okay. So I got people mowing the lawn in the back, but that's fine. I'm just writing up. Well, I guess I'm not really writing it because I've already written it. But so years ago, I'd written a few short stories, and one of the problems is that I'd written them all on sheets of paper in pencil. So they're beginning to fade and become eventually probably unreadable. They'll be so faded that it will be undecipherable. So I'm now going to make sure they're preserved. I've had them typed up a few times, but I've also had a lot of computers that died in the summer from heat. So I'm hoping that this one that I have now will not have that happen. We'll see. So right now I'm going to be typing up a short story I made called Medea, which is it's what do I want to say? It's kind of based off of Eisenhorn. It's kind of knockoff Eisenhorn. I was trying to write a story in first person, and it follows the story of essentially a young priest or monk or whatever they're called, acolyte, Hierophant, even though that's a Tyranid name, but apparently it works for them too. He's like he's a young acolyte who gets, suckered into a bigger adventure that he didn't want to be on. So it's about, let's see, I think it's about 30-ish pages. Like it's double-sided too, which then makes that even kind of worse in ways. But let's see, so it's got 29, 35, it's got 36 pages. So we'll see what that actually turns into when typing it out on computer. But that's what I'm going to do first, Medea. And I'm probably going to be talking about it because I'm going to be like reading it aloud and while I'm typing it just to make sure I have everything clear. So I guess you'll be hearing about some of it in the video. And if you have any questions, just because this is a live stream, just put them into the chat and I'll hopefully notice and pay attention because that's totally what I'm doing. So, all right, what else do I have here? After that, I'm going to have a story called The Siege of Vole, which this serves as a prequel backstory in a way for Slaith Darkseer, for Slaith the Space Marine even. It's kind of a prequel because the first story that was actually written with the character is Slaith, and that's kind of the character's debut, but the story Slaith takes place after Siege of Volstrom, which could alternatively be called Darkseer. And Slaith is kind of the story that just sets up the character as like, I don't want to say it, like this is where he's at, this is what he is, go. If you're going to use him in the game, play with him. He's on Necromunda. There he is. He's a Necromunda Space Marine. Like that's essentially his story. And then so I had to kind of make some more backstory for him because otherwise it's kind of like, so who was this Marine before he was just kind of chosen to stay there? So, all right. So typing out some stories. I'm sure this is going to be equally as entertaining as watching me drink myself until passing out and possibly exposing myself on live stream. So, all right. This is going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. So, let's see. Video up. Download Word up. Alright, sweet. I think I am set. This. There we go. Perfect. Alright. It's going to be easier if I have this. You know, I could have this here. I'm kind of looking at the camera. I also was looking through some of my other writings, and I found some of my really early stuff that I made when I guess I was just 12 or 13, and some of this stuff's terrible. Terrible, absolutely terrible. It's cringeworthy. And then, some of it's not even really even short stories. Some of it, I even wrote a character with stats, and it's I don't know, it was really over the top. It's this guy's a librarian with the stats of a bloodthirster, and he has every single ability. It's oh, god damn it. All right, so, okay. Medea. I started off on the backwater agri-world of Jesbia 3. Now, do I want to put a numeric 3, or do I want to put a Roman 3, a numeral 3? I don't know. I'm gonna go with the numerals. I'm gonna change it. Seems cooler. A peaceful system. Looks like that has quotations on it. I can't tell. Maybe I should put quotations, maybe not. Maybe I can just get away with it not having it on the outskirts of the Imperium. Oh, okay, so it's not even in the thing. So shouldn't it be on more in danger, I guess? If it's in the outskirts of the Imperium, wouldn't that put it at a higher risk of invasion and stuff? I don't know. That might need to be changed. I didn't always want to be a priest. I don't think the character ever did. Didn't always want to be a priest. Well, I guess technically they did, because this is also a backstory for an old man character that I made for 40 Quisitor Munda campaign. I didn't always want to be a priest when I was younger. I wanted to be a politician. Yeah. But father, severely disapproved. Once I get all this typed up, I'm gonna have to get somebody to check this over. Or you can all listen and check it over while we're doing it. Yeah. I wanted my future to be on Jesbia. Okay, I wrote Jesbia here, but then I wrote Nesbia here. In the same paragraph. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Jesbia. Severely disapproved. And wanted my future to be on Jesbia. Jesbia not traveling stars. Not traveling stars. Planet to planet. Election to election. Knowing what I know now. Oh, so foreshadowing. It wasn't his greatest. It wasn't his greatest choices. It wasn't his greatest of choices. It wasn't his greatest choices. All right. End of paragraph. Wow, this is one really big paragraph. Like, somewhere I can end that. Okay, so the interior of the cab was cramped with the. Okay, so all of a sudden it just goes into a scene or goes into a description. So the interior of the cab was cramped with bags and cases Father had packed. Oh, he doesn't even pack his own bags. Father had packed. Form. It was hot. It was hot. It was hot in the cramped speeder cab. So they're flying the speeder cab. I guess they have those on certain. Some planets have cars and some planets have speeder cabs. And the long coat he made me wear. Was making me sweat. Oh no, oh whoa, I could not expect that to be the detail. And carry a strong body odor. There is no sparing of detail here, apparently. Okay. End of paragraph, because I see some dialogue there. So that is where I'm going to make that. That's going to make this more readable. Hey, Devrin. Oh yeah, his name's Devrin. Hey, Devrin. Now, okay, do I want that to be its own, like, if it's a one piece of dialogue and it's just "Hey, Devrin," should I have that as its own line, like its own paragraph in a sense, and then go to a new line to start the next description, or would I want the sit down. Or would I want the "Hey, Devrin," my father said from the comfort of the front? So would I want that to be part of? Probably would want that, because I don't think I'd want the dialogue to be that demanding of space. So, "Hey, Devrin," and then leave that at the part where my father said, saw it, or said from the comfort of the front of the passenger seat. And then another piece of dialogue. Looks like it's almost time for the harvest carnival. The harvest carnival. That's okay. It's almost time for the generic event time party. Whatever. That could either be renamed or maybe it's just kept generic so that way the reader can go, aha, I know what that is. I can understand that. Words. Okay, I was going. He said, pointing to the. I'm going to change said to to state like my father stated, or I don't know. He said, no, okay, sure, but he said. It's probably going to be lots of he saids. He said, she said. He said, pointing to the ground. From his window. Paragraph. I tried to move the bag and case, obstructing my view. Obstructing my point of view and perspective. My view, but still found I had to adjust. But seating. The cab was shooting. Yeah. But Abby here too. She's here for the video. So the cab was shooting through the air, mere feet from the treetops. The large green and brown square crops passed. By and now we were over Hellman's. Oh, see, now this thing has a name, apparently. Name over Pellman's Bluff, I'm pretty sure. Pellman's Highway. Something. Pellman's Highway. Road connecting the regions. Cropland. Capital city. Of New Vermentia? New Vermenti. Of New Vermenti. Of New Vermenti. We're going to New Vermenti. I don't know what that was. They're Italian, apparently. You can see the big tents and rides. Checking out the camera. Or cat's checking out the camera. Yeah, it's a camera. What is that? Want to see? Tents and rides. Where was I? Big tents and rides being set up in the distance. On the highway. Okay, bye, cat. This is the big tents and rides being set up in the distance on the highway. Well, we're almost on page 1. It was a shame I had to leave now. Just before the Harvest Carnival. And I always loved it as a child. Flashing colored lights. That sounds so festive. I guess it's the Harvest Festival. Flashing colored lights. The entertainers. Talented. Is that what it says? The trained Farapa bears. Oh, those Farapa bears. I wonder if they're like related to Parappa. They're Farapa the Rappa bears. But my favorite, oh, the favorite, here it comes. Favorite part. Well, the favorite part was, here comes, the Sucra sticks. Sucra. No idea what that could be. The Sucra sticks made dripping sap. That's hilarious. Like Canada, the 40K story. All right, kids. It's Louis Riel Day. Okay. And it's flash frozen too, yeah. Stickers made from the dripping sap. The plant life. I can't believe I wrote this. Then flash frozen. Oh man. Flash frozen onto a wooden stick. How Canadian can that get? Most people called them suckers. But he's going to differentiate himself. But I stuck with the more traditional name. Now, is that the Sucra stick? I don't even remember. I was going to say it right away. But that had nothing to do with how I preferred to chew them. Okay. Yeah. I just want to get to the point in this story when Medea meets the Inquisitor. Was it the Inquisitor like Gennaro or something? Inquisitor Maxis or something. It was something stupid. He's like this mechanical Inquisitor from the Mechanum. Mechanum Inquisitor. I don't know. And then there's like space vampires. They fight vampires in like a mansion. So, it's gonna be good when we get to those parts. Some of these little details I'm forgetting, but it's gonna be funny. Okay, we're almost done page 1, everybody. Almost done page 1 of 36. I prefer to chew them. The carnival sight flew by in a blur. I'm gonna make that a new paragraph. That's getting big. Carnival sight flew by in a blur. And new Vermenti was much closer and clearer. Was there anything distorting it? Clearer now. Wow, look at that. What amazing dialogue. I'm sure George Lucas would be like, that is some high quality dialogue. leaned over to look forward out the window. For small crafts passing. Back and forth between these massive starport. And what looked like a massive what? A massive what? It looks like a massive Lehman Russ here. We got Lehman Russ. Okay. Imperial ship. Visible through the planet's atmosphere. Oh, it's so technical. Through the planet's atmosphere and light greens and light cyan sky. I'm gonna go with the cyan sky. Cyan sky. Cab flew into the city of crystalline towers. Apparently they're crystalline. Okay, that seems very imperial. Okay. Oh, that's not good. So, crystalline towers built around the city's original architecture. From our point of view, the Jedi were evil. From our view, it looked as the city all glass, buildings sprouted out from the city's ancient base of stone monument structures. My father, no, he's my father, he's not just father. My father and I had never been to New Menti. We had always lived regions habitat, which had small homes or large groups of families. I changed that from large families to large groups of families. It's more grim dark. More dark! But strange, leaving the family. But he's like a Hutterite. But he's just not a farmer, Owen. I want to help you. So according to this, we are almost done page 1. Even though now I'm on page 2 a little bit. So I guess things are going to get a little bit made smaller. I guess depending on the size of the font that I go. I'm going with size 12. I'm guessing that's kind of standard. Font 12. Hopefully I don't fall asleep on stream again. That was bad last time. That was really bad. And was really, really bad. I also just got off work, so I'm also really tired. So, but just to take a break, got a page done, so I'll just take a quick smoke break. What's some stuff that I'm doing right now? So, I have my models right now that I'm working on. I kind of have them on delay. Like, I remember, if anyone's even seen these, I had the beard log where I was trying to finish a battle company. I realized that now I have another battle company. God damn it. So I have to paint up another battle company and finish my first company. So then I'll have the first 3 companies, the veteran company and the first 2 battle companies. Then I got about 40 scouts and then like, I don't know, some bikes and some speeders and some Primaris Marines and extra guys and bullshit and whatever, and some Devastators and stuff like that I could cram together and make it, a kind of hodgepodge, cram together what would exist of the 4th company. So then, I don't know, I'm finding that kind of interesting that I could have all that put together. What's up? Pablo Fiasco 2. I should be breaking out my guard to paint. Got far too many needing work. Yeah. Like I could, because I'm taking a break, I'm going to light the smoke. Sorry to people who, are offended by that. I know it's 2018. Deal with it. So I'm going to have a smoke and then I'm going to pull the camera over and I'll show you my battle company. If the best I can, I'll try to pass the camera over. That should be fun. Or I guess not my battle company. I guess right now this is, for the moment, the chapter. Okay. Let's move around. Almost knocked it over. All right. Sweet. So the best I can do without knocking stuff over, because I've got this cord coming over everything. So here's the first company. Oh no, that's the second company. But that's the first battle company that I actually ended up finishing. But because some models have transitioned into different squads and stuff like that, some of the models have eventually now become unpainted or not finished, like this Storm Bolter guy. But it's got so standard, 2 assaults, 2 devs, 6 tacks, command squad, or what that would be equivalent now, and then librarian and captain. My chapter used dogs because there's a dreadnought for each company. So this is the second company. This is the third company. Captain, tech marine, chaplains, and setup. Here's the scout company, tank company. They've got a captain, chaplain, company champion, and apothecary. Here's my armored division or tank division. First company, got some Terminators, and then some kind of hodgepodge of different squads. Like here's some Vanguard. Here's some Vanguard with jump packs, and then like a different platoon of some Stern Guard, and then I've got like my Razorback section, my Land Speeders, the Primaris section, Land Raiders, the works. So I need to finish up. I think I'm going to go. I'm not certain if I want to go with. If I want to go with the first company first, I mean, that seems like it would be easier because I've already painted 20 of them, the Terminators. And so there would be, I guess, 80 left. And then the third company, I I think only about one of the squad's worth of Marines, about 10 of the Marines, are actually painted. And I don't know. I guess I'd be stuck either way, no matter which way I do this. But I really hate painting assault Marines. I hate painting the jump packs. But I guess no matter which way I do that, I'm going to be painting 20 jump packs, it seems like. Yeah, that's roughly how the battle companies and all that are going. So yeah, I would like to get those all painted because that would be really nice to present all at once and get the bases all done and all that too. And have that presented, in battle lines and formations and platoons and stuff like that, or in the battle companies and, something like that. It would look nice. So I would like to get to that point eventually. And yeah, it probably won't be too difficult. I mean, the only difficult thing is that I need to make sure that I do the patterns right, because there's been a couple times where I've asked some people to help me, and they end up painting the legs reverse, which I get it. My pattern is really confusing when you put together the Mark 6 greaves style, like the Corvus greaves, to the Mark 7. When you have just the regular greaves compared to the knee pads, there's a difference because then the black and the red kind of flip a little bit. So if you're not really ready for that and you're kind of used to painting it a certain way, then you might get it backwards. And so I actually have about 10 or so Marines. Ironically, most of them are veterans, so maybe it's a veteran thing. I don't know. And all of my original Terminators, because they all had that knee pad thing going on. All my original Terminators, so maybe it's a veteran thing that then veterans have it backwards, but I don't want to do that because I've already started painting other veterans the correct way. So maybe it's just a random thing, like how a dog has spots, the bloodhounds, like different ones can have different patterns because they want to. I don't know. Seems arbitrary at that point, but I don't know. I think I should just get a handle on it and just be like, those are the ones they're bad guys, they're traitors. So, okay. Oh, we got some comments. So how's it going? Hey. So just to catch you up, I am typing down and writing my short stories onto my computer. I'm going to be kind of reading them out loud while typing them. And, any comments, questions, suggestions, anything you have, I would like to have it in the things, so that way I could make it good. And by the way, anyone who's wondering from the last live stream, I am fine. So, all right, let's catch up on these comments here. Oh, hey, Cancer Mage. What's up, Cancer? Ayo. Okay. Got danged. That's a lot of Marines. It's about 300. And it's about 300 of the Marines. And if I get into it, I'll get into some of my old lore, my old fan lore that I wrote when I was a teenager, which is the cringiest of shit. And one of the funniest things that I'll note on that, if there's 300 Marines there and one of them who is a leader that's named Leonidas, that's not intentional. It's just a coincidence for the moment, because if I get more Marines, it's not going to be 300 and one of them is Leonidas. That's just a coincidence for now. But all right. Maybe start with the Marines, since they need less individual details to pick out. That's a good idea, because then I could just kind of assembly line them through and just get a bunch of the different Marines, and even the Devastators. I could just kind of treat them as the same. They're practically tactical Marines for the purposes of painting. Companies look nice as hell, by the way. Companies do look nice. I'm kind of saddened by the new codex where, Robute Gilliman comes back and he's pretty much kind of like, oh yeah, those companies that I was like telling you should use, pshaw, just have whatever the fuck you want. That paint is backward, heretics. Yeah, pretty much. It's the subtle, not so subtle hint that they're like, not so good. It's like they're wearing like a pink handkerchief around their knee in the 80s. So, okay, I was assigned captain of the second company and also master of the forge. Cancer Mage, I'll let you pick one. I will let you pick one, because if I had forgotten that you were both, unfortunately, you can't be both. But I will pull over the model, and so you get to see. You can. I'll show you which model is the captain of the second company or the master of the forge, and you probably know which one the master of the forge is. So. You messaged me via YouTube. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to check my messages because I must have not realized that was a feature anymore. I remember when it used to have like an inbox, kind of like other social media, but it kind of went away. So if it's back, I'll check for your message for sure. I was the saddest of boys. The cringe is real. Thankfully, I haven't seen the latest Marines sex, so Rowboat Girly Man can go off with himself. Dex, not sex. The latest Marines sex, according to Feminist 40K, is clearly female. The Force is female, and so are the Force weapons. The Force weapons are female. That's Disney. I know you can't be a captain and master of the forge at the same time, hence me finding it hilarious. Obviously, I'll take the latter because I want to clean some meme files from our dreadnoughts. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if I really need to bother getting this because the master of the forge for right now, for the sake of the models, is just that it's that tech marine that has the full servo harness. The master of the forge model, the one that has like the axe and the little like auspex, and he's got like the Doc Ock kind of going on. So. Yeah. Well, all right. So my smoke's done. Kind of more wanted to have a bowl. So, yeah. I guess that's one advantage to Justin Trudeau. Except for not yet, but kind of is, but will be maybe soon in the future as long as he keeps that promise, but he's not going to. So I'm going to smoke some weed because that'll help me focus. And then by focusing, I'll be able to continue typing down stuff. And when stuff is typed down, then at that point, I will have progressed more into the story. So, Tech Marini goodness. The old Tech Marine. I have the old metal one that has the axe and the bolt pistol. I have another one that's holding an Auspex. I have a couple of the old Rogue Trader ones with beak helmets, when instead of having the current Mechanicus symbol, they had a hand for a shoulder pad. I've got one that looks like he's got bad gas and he's like burping himself, and another one that's got an oil can or like a flamethrower pistol or something like that. Oh, hold on. Oh, what's up, Robin Hood? I hope you're not here to like steal from my stash and give to yourself, because that would be pretty stingy. So, okay. Is the combined gene seed from all the Primarchs thing going to be retconned or at least made a bit more fitting to the canon? Also, have you mapped the timeline of the chapter relative to the 40K timeline? Okay. Well, the combined gene seed thing, the way that this actually really originated was my first squad was, I think, Blood Claws, because there's like the Gray Hunters and the Blood Claws. I got the one where you got to get like a Power Fist guy and a Power Axe guy and all that stuff. And at the time, I really, really liked Red and Black. And I mean, I still do Red and Black. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, Red and Black. Go Kane. Go Undertaker's cool too. So, yeah, Undertaker. So, so Red and Black. So I made these essentially I made Red and Black Space Wolves. and I needed to make a story for them and a name, so I called them the Bloodhounds because they were kind of like, at the time I was like, they're a chapter made of blood angels and space wolves. And my brother was like, no, that's stupid. Why would there be a chapter of just made out of the blood angels and space wolves? And I was like, you're right. And then I kind of like, forgot about it and then thought about it and then thought about it for like a day or two. And then I was like, aha, it'll be a chapter made of all of the chapters because that makes way more sense. But not like the Death Company. Not like the Death Company. It's a bit different. Instead, it was just somehow like Vegito or Gogeta, something stupid like that. They were like, it was like this chapter that was just like, it was just somehow the Blood Angels and the Space Wolves fused into one as some kind of like chapter that had their shit. So I was like, okay, that's gonna, and also to make it even worse, I'm having another smoke because we're talking about this now. This is happening. So to make it even worse, to add even more salt into the wound, sometimes they used Space Wolves rules. They never used Blood Angel rules, and most of the time they used Black Templar rules from Codex Armageddon, because this was around 3rd edition. So they were really weird. They were all over the place. And so then I was told to kind of like, make up my story, pick a Primarch. And I was like, pick a Primarch. What does that mean? Because at the time I didn't really know what a Primarch was. I thought that was like, like a chapter master. So I was like, oh yeah, sure. There was a scout from the Black Templars who he like rode a bike with a power fist on, and he like totally punched out a giant hive tyrant, and now he's the Primarch of the Bloodhounds. And it was like, I know everybody's watching right now probably just like started just rage typing like, oh my god. I was like 11 and I had just gotten into the everything, and I had just been given like a rudimentary Space Marines are kind of like the guys from Aliens sort of explanation to the whole thing. I even thought Space Marines went oorah. I was like Space Marines, how they're like, for the Emperor, remain vigilant. I thought they'd be like, oorah, that's how much I was really into the world of this at the time. And so, wait. And now I feel like I need to take a break from it. Maybe you could have, the Bloodhounds have something like the Black Rage, only instead of becoming angry boys, they get some sort of obsession over a concept. I've always had a soft spot for the size of the Emperor. They have a nice pattern. I don't blame you. If I ever do a real Marine army, that's what I'm going for. And become unnaturally good at those concepts and those that's how that they some of them might do things like that because they are part Alpha Legionnaire, making them an army of specialists. Except all the specialists have different specialization. The chapter could excel in a support role or in a small squads, but not as good as at a large-scale warfare due to the lack of conjoined purpose. That actually, you're on the nose with that, because I would want to say that each company, as much as I don't have it represented properly on the tabletop, each company should probably have its own distinct, even though they probably do in every chapter, but its own distinct thing, which would lead to, like, essentially one of the reasons why I made this storyline was, one, because I was like, I want to have Space Wolf guys that, aren't always Space Wolves, but are red and black. And that doesn't make sense because they're Space Wolves. So essentially I made them, they are every single Legion of Marine put into like one chapter, let's just say, but like if genetically, they're not like everything, like this is a Marine and this is them. It's nothing like that. They're not super Marines. Because, you would have to still divide the average amongst the individual, and they would still only be the most that they could be, maybe divided amongst and equally amongst what those traits would be. So, there could be let's just say, for lack of better terms, this is an excuse so that way you can use any chapter, legion, even chaos, stuff like that, as Bloodhounds. because there could be a company that have, you know, become a little bit more, you know, acute with their senses, or even though it doesn't work that way really, because their gene seed is actually really unstable. It's really unstable and constantly mutating to the point where at one point, let's just say your name, you know, you're Lucius John. That's you. You're a Marine, Lucius John, and you started a campaign with a gene seed that in ways represented, let's just say like I'm just gonna somehow you could quantify this. It was like 15% Iron Legion, 25% Imperial Fist, 30% Blood Angel, 20%. It was this, and so, some of the genes go dormant, so that it's not going to have a piece of every single thing, and it's not going to be like if one Marine from one legion would be, let's just say 100%, and there's 20 legions, right? It's not going to be at like 2000% Marine genetics. It's going to be still at 100%, maybe fluctuating because it's mutated, but it's not going to be at like, I am the everything good at everything Marine. Like that's some people really, I need to like hammer that in, that they're not super Marines. Although one thing that bugs me is that a lot of the imagery involved in the creation of the Bloodhounds later on, or nowadays, got used. It seems, as much as my thing is completely non-canon, it's a fan fiction, whatever. It seems like the Primaris Marines in their underground canister rooms, all of that is straight up how the origin of the Bloodhounds, and it's like, fuck, really. I give you an excuse to have a little bit of chapter within them due to hyper specialized Marines. I don't know. It just seems a bit bad fan fiction-y to have the Emperor just slap so many specialized gene seeds into a chapter, which feels like would sort of invalidate the Primarch's existence. Like, why make separate gene seeds if you could all just put them together? Okay, I think I have a video on this explaining why the Emperor made. I'm not going to call this the 21st Primarch because I usually like to even not call him a Primarch, and I've also made the character like to call him like to refuse to be called a Primarch. If anything, call him like Primarch 0 or Primarch X, in the sense where he's not numeric, but he's like not part of the thing. He's like, if these are the Primarchs and like in continuity of order of creation, and there was, you know, people like to make the 21st Primarch or whatever. They like to make, you know, extra Primarchs. This one it's something different because he's a clone. And so essentially, you watch a bit of their backstory. They were a watchdog chapter made to police the Astartes and watch their heresy. Yeah, okay. And some of that has changed. The watchdog thing has been kind of more changed to more like they're the trackers. That's more fitting. Okay. Wait. All right. So the Emperor made the Primarchs, and then at, you know, undisclosed time, the Primarchs were whisked away off into the galaxy. Okay. At some point after that, but before finding the Primarchs, he creates a clone out of something. Like, you know, somehow there were remaining genetics, or, you know, he used, you know, like the fog of the breath on the glass to make a clone, because, you know, he was like, well, shit, he's lost them all. So he made a clone that was made out of all of them to then find them. It was supposed to help find them, but he was never really ready in time, and then just kind of kept, and the Emperor just kind of kept putting the project off, because eventually it was pointless. There was no point to even using him at that point. Because he already had started finding the Primarchs. So essentially there was this obsolete Primarch clone that wasn't needed because the Primarchs were already found, essentially. Didn't really put the full gene seeds rather than traces of the Primarch. Don't clones in 40K tend to go, well, batshit crazy and or murder psycho? Somebody's paying attention. So that is a version. There are some more stable versions, depending on like which timeline, universe, etc. Because you know how even 40K has different, let's just say, universe timelines, whatever you want to call it, when they add or change things. There'll be different versions and editions of the lore. I've also incorporated different versions and editions of the Bloodhounds, which exist in the multiple different universes, the multiverse of 40K. So they're clones of the Emperor, meaning they have to be objective, better than clones. They're kind of clones of the Emperor. I'm not sure if it really specifically says they're clones of the Emperor. They're creations of the Emperor. But I mean, in a way, Leman Russ, excuse me, the lion part of me off. Leman Russ is also part wolf. And I'm pretty sure the Emperor isn't part wolf. So he kind of added that little spice in, like Emerald Live, we need a little bit of wolf, and bam, I got the wolf Primarch. Clones made. Okay, well, I'll just say, just to continue the conversation, I'm having a smoke before I continue writing, because I put this off, and now my cat's crying. You made my cat cry. Come here. So yeah, sure, let's just say they're clones. Now, because he's a clone of clones, that also adds an extra instability factor in. But he's a clone of all of the 20, including Alpharos, Omegion, whatever you want to say, 21 Primarchs. So he's something else. He was designed to be a tracker to track them down, because one, he is part that there, and because he's like part Magnus and stuff like that, that he himself is able to, kind of guide himself to find them. This is kind of the new retcon. That's kind of how that changed. That he then. Oh God, I think I heard something about them bringing Russ back next in the canon. That would be neat, because I would like to incorporate Russ, because there's a part where in one of the stories, I guess maybe I should just finish this up before getting into that detail. He was created as that, and the Primarch clone. I'm not sure what I really want to call this. The composite clone. That's what I call him before he's named Aero, because he wasn't named by the Emperor. It's funny. The Emperor named the Legion, but didn't name the Primarch for some reason. So unnamed composite clone creature thing. He wakes up, or he's released or is complete during the Battle of Terra, right as the Emperor dies, pretty much, and then leaves and disappears in some kind of bullshit cloak spaceship. Now, some of the stuff doesn't make sense, so that it could be worked on. I do want to keep the fact that he is like a creation of all of them, because that's not unprecedented. That's been done in Hitman. Agent 47 is a clone of the people that he was meant to go and kill. So, but I'm not, spoilers. So now this character is not meant to be a replacement for the Executioner, which is Leman Russ, because he's meant to be a tracker. But there are a few things that are kind of wrong with him, and he's very easily corruptible. And depending on, let's just say, an alternate timeline universe, he could be an alternate Executioner, in some Dorn heresy sort of thing. Alternate universe where this character exists, he could be an Executioner. I don't think they brought us back. In fact, it's not Wolf in Time. But okay, so now whatever. I'm going to go past that origin story. So at one point, though, after this character is somewhat established, he's been given a name. Now he's Arrow. So just for simplicity, I'm just going to call him Arrow, which is Aero, by the way. It's not like Green Arrow. It's kind of like the chocolate bar, but not named after that. So Arrow at one point is called into the warp by the Chaos Gods. Now this is a constant in like all of the different versions and timelines. This always happens. And he takes one of the ships and he flies off into the Eye of Terror and then wanders across the demon worlds, world to world. In one of the stories, he's invited, kind of like a guest, to meet all of the Chaos Gods, because for some reason they need him to willingly choose to serve them. And each time he refuses. And Slaanesh even knows that, like, Slaanesh doesn't reveal him herself because they know that Z will influence Arrow if I ran out of pronouns were to be seen by the composite clone. So that's one story. Another one is he goes into the warp and he meets time echoes. So, like, how the warp, like, how Chaos Space Marines can die, and they, you could kind of like reach into your warp refrigerator and pull them out and go, there you go, buddy, and pull them back into your things. Kind of like that. He's walking through these demon worlds and he meets echoes in time, strong psychic imprints of the Primarchs from great battles and moments in history. And he meets them all, and about half, maybe more than half, because some of them, because they eventually, it goes through almost their life. He sees them through their life and in their final stages. So obviously the ones that become demon Primarchs, he sees them in their demon, in their demon form, demon prince form. And about more than half of them try to kill him. These echoes try to kill him. One of them that doesn't try to kill him, and this is during, so Robute Gilliman is supposed to be, he's still nearly headless Nick at this point in the storyline. But his echo in time pretty much almost treats Arrow like, like a kid, and he's like Santa Claus. Like he practically picks him up on his knee and pretty much goes like, "They're there, kid. They're there. You're going to be all right. You're going to figure this out." And kind of gives him the pep talk that he needs. But about like 12 or 13 of them try to kill him, including Russ. Russ calls him a mutt. And this is also something that, ironically, the Space Wolves, who haven't seen Leman Russ in a long time, but have met the Bloodhounds, also call the Bloodhounds. They call them mutts. The Space Wolves are one of the only chapters or legions or whatever you want to call it. They're one of the only other chapters that actually know the Bloodhounds' secret, that they're made of, like, that they have like a mutated gene seed that goes through all the different things, because they can smell it like Wolverine pretty much. So they call them mutts. And so any meaning to that? Wait, I love that art of the Tau Tech Marine armor. Maybe when you type up that meeting the gods story, don't make it all 40k gods directly. Yeah, no, that's one of the reasons. Like, the 40k gods version was like an older version, and that's why I think I changed it to pretty much like ghosts of the Primarch, time ghost echoes of the Primarchs, and some of them are good and some of them are bad. Make it symbolic, like a dream. One of the things that this part of the storyline that happens is Arrow meets a Tzeentch demon that tries to, while he's in the warp, trick him into choosing an alternate reality to be spat into. So, like, a bunch of realities that exist and are real, but not necessarily are the true reality. They're all realities and true to themselves. But essentially, imagine you're in the warp and a Tzeentch demon walks up to you and goes, "Here's a bunch of portals to a bunch of different universes, but try to find the one that's yours in this needle in a haystack." And he has to pick the right one. And that's one of the tests that happens to him in the thing. He gets pretty fucked by that. And it's not really certain if the portal he went through is really the real 40K universe or his real universe. He is spat out into a 40K universe kind of ambiguously. And maybe he's a hound, a crow, a vulture, and a snake. I'm not quite sure that's a reference to. Hound, a crow. Oh, okay, I get it. Because it's like, I guess I kind of get it. I'll offer him something and he rejects them in turn. Oh, yeah, no, okay, now I get it. Whoops. Now I get it. Those are the Chaos Gods. And I'll offer him something and rejects them in turn. Something like that opposed to him outright rejecting all 4 gods when they're actually focusing on him, which is in way past Kaldor Drago level of bullshit. Okay, yeah, that is pretty Drago level, especially with Slaanesh. That's where it draws the line, where it's like, and Slaanesh knew that he had to like hide behind his mirror and go, ooh, I'm like totally behind here. I want you to be on my side. Apparently, Slaanesh is him from Powerpuff Girls. You know, he's got like his claw hands and his high-pitched voice. Actually, you know what? Actually, yeah, you know, yeah, him from Powerpuff Girls is clearly Slaanesh. So, all right. So yeah, I changed that to him meeting like to the Primarchs, and it's really kind of focused more on this Tzeentch demon that's kind of trying to trick him to keep him in the warp. But a few things that I've actually thought about is, in one of the original stories, Arrow goes into the wind and then comes back as a Chaos Lord. Like he comes back as, you know, like almost like Horus. You know how Horus wasn't quite a demon, but he came back, you know, like Chaos Lord in Terminator armor. So that's supposed to be kind of the return. He comes back as a Chaos, you know, all Chaos. But I was also thinking of making like a Demon Prince version, and I think that might be kind of neat. And one of the things is that the chapter is at risk of a few different things. It's at risk to Khorne because there are a few Marines that because they pick and choose from different cultures all over the place. There are a few like headhunter Marines and stuff like that. So like they'll collect skulls and stuff like that, and you know Khorne likes that. So there's Khorne could probably stick his finger in that. The Arrow is constantly trying to fight off Slaanesh from corrupting the chapter. For some reason, he has a problem with anybody in the chapter wearing gold, or having a lot of honors and stuff. He goes, no, you're not. You can only have like 1 honor on your armor to represent you. You're not allowed to have any more than that. That's it. You're cut. Because he doesn't want the Marines to get too full of themselves, to get too proud. And they're at risk to Tzeentch because Arrow being a psyker, there's a decent amount of psykers, I probably want to say, within the Bloodhounds. So there's probably that risk of Tzeentch. Tzeentch is interested in him, clearly, if there's a Tzeentch demon interested in him. And I've kind of made another story where Magnus Shard, is interested in Arrow. So maybe there's definitely some Tzeentchian interest there. But I'm not exactly sure. But I might want to make it maybe like an undivided Demon Prince, if that's even possible. That would be kind of neat. As for meeting a bunch of timey-wimey Primarchs, I don't know, it seems a bit much again. I feel like a battle against one own's corruption shouldn't manifest the Primarchs in a direct way. It should be an ideological battle, the different parts of himself battling in a more abstract sense. Perhaps the Primarchs dressed in scraps of Bloodhound armor, with some deformities to show that they're influenced by his own mental state as tainted amalgamations of them all. Yeah, Nurgle would be interested just to talk over Slaanesh. Okay, I didn't have really a Nurgle reason, so I'll take that. Now, Cancer, I totally agree with that. They're not really the Primarchs, and they're really what that part is. Like you once again, you've hit it on the nose. It's an internal struggle with who he is and his I guess like where he's from and what he's made of and who he like. If he is a clone of these 21 men, is he actually them? Does he have some of their memories and some of their personality traits? And is he fighting some of his internal personality traits? Like, as much as like the Primarchs are all they all have a wide spectrum of emotions, but they're all kind of exaggerated parts of themselves, kind of like parts of the Emperor, one might say. So in a way, having all of those parts back in himself is in a way battling with all of those separate emotions and parts. Like all of a sudden 40K has become that movie like Inside Me, but with like a Primarch clone fighting his like exaggerated Primarch emotions, you know. It's which is why some of them lash out and fight him, and why some of them don't, because they're more passive, or you know, they're on the side that they're not going to be fighting at all. Well, I mean, your suggestions are great, because a lot of them actually are lining up with a lot of the things that I have considered, and a lot of the things that I'm thinking of moving forward with some of the changes and some of the additional events. Because I mean, setting up who and what they are is nice and all, but I mean, I want to have some things that they've done and some stuff, and you know, a little bit of, you know, I guess fame to the name, let's just say, other than just kind of going, this is their clone Primarch, he's their leader, he's like Donatello, he's their leader for some reason, he leads them, you know, like, I feel like Bloodhounds have a lot of potential for some really interesting lore. One of the things that I've kind of noticed after making some stories and talking about what I've wanted them to be, I've noticed that it almost seems in a way like the Bloodhounds are like a little mini theater of the legions, because there's like infighting within the chapter, and there was like a coup and stuff like that, and because of there being such variety and things like that, they somehow become almost like an analogy for the Space Marines as a whole. I don't want to use that as a thing that actually exists in the thing. This is just somehow just like this is just something I've noticed about them after that. Donatello was the one who made those wonderful toys. No, that was whoever made Batman's equipment in the movie Batman by Tim Burton. Because we needed to know where he got those wonderful toys. And we never really explained it in the movie, but he got them from somewhere, and that's whom he got them from. See, now, Leonardo was the leader according to the cartoon and according to most people's perceptions and according to, I guess, reality. But according to the movie and the song that came in the trailer, or not trailer, in the credits, Raphael is the leader of the group. Remember that. Raphael is the leader of the group. Line up the timelines. Okay. If I needed, I've never really like put this down, but I could probably give you like a rough timeline. Let's just say, like, if you've got like, I don't know, Paint, or like a piece of paper, like, you know, like Paint program, MS Paint, or if you have like just like a piece of paper and a pencil, you know, just make a line, and I'm just gonna start this off. So the Bloodhounds start off just after creation. Okay, you already know that, so you can probably fill that in. The battle, okay, not the battle. Roughly within, I think, 6,000 to 8,000 years after the Horus Heresy, and things are still, that's, I'm pretty sure, unless I've said something previously in the past, then completely just disregard that, and that's the real thing. That's when Talrak pretty much happens. They go to Talrak, and then Talrak gets fucked over, and then they get relaunched into the galaxy. After that's when, because the Emperor put a like a hypno training thing into Arrow to make it so that if he died as a failsafe, so that way this being that is a clone of all of the Primarchs So, which could be dangerous to exist in the universe because of how close that might be to himself and to the other Primarch. You just can't have that running around the universe during this kind of thing. You can't, you can't have that. So he made him go kill himself, pretty much. I think we should have more lore put down before we set a proper full timeline. We're talking about when they first emerged. When they first emerged, meaning like when they were first emerged from like the tanks, like the cryo tanks on Terra, or do you mean like when they were like debuted into the galaxy, like their first battle fighting orcs or something and saving the day, like the Ghostbusters? Well, to go to the latter part, the Bloodhounds don't actually become integrated into the Imperium sometimes at all, or very late in the game. I actually only recently, due to recent changes in the storyline, the Bloodhounds became integrated into the Imperium after Robute Gilliman came back to life. They've been staying in the shadows outside of the Imperium for all of that time because they didn't trust what would happen if they were to, like, Arrow was like, no, we need to stick to our guns and not, like, we'll go and save the day. For like practical purposes of like how they would act in a way, they're practically like Legion of the Damned, how they would just kind of show up, you know, at the nick of time to go and fight guys, and you know, it was like prophecy and stuff like that. How did their interactions with the Imperium go? They would show up on a world because they would be following. Now, okay, this word sounds weird, but this is a device on old naval ships, which I then adapted to 40K relic for this. They have a device called the Holy Sextant, the Compass Navigatio, which they use to then set their courses where they're going. Essentially, unbeknown to the chapter, it's not even really. I myself, I'm not really decided if Arrow even knows for certain what's going on here. Either he is oblivious or he knows and just isn't saying anything. It's set to parade mode, kind of thing. They have they have like a bunch of courses set into their navigation to go from like world to what was supposed to be their debut into the universe. Everything was supposed to be all fine and nilly-dilly. There wasn't supposed to be a Horus heresy. Everything was supposed to be good. All of this shit, the Emperor was like, you know what, fine. You know, so these ships had a parade they were going to go on from like system to system to system to system. And that was never programmed out of the ships, let's just per se. Unlike the Bloodhounds who had a home world. They don't have one anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, that's true. They're not really Legion of the Damned. I was just using that kind of an analogy just as a comparison to how they show up. But they'll be like, you know, set in a course. What's the, like, they feel it's prophecy. Like their destiny is to go to each of one of these systems, but they don't realize that it's just the next system in the parade tour. And so they're going to each of these systems. And ironically, when they go to them, sometimes there's nothing and they go like, oh, there's nothing here. And sometimes there's a hidden Mechanum cache there that they can then get some equipment for it. They can hijack some equipment. Or there's shit going down and they're like, it's prophecy. We were meant to always be here. See, the thing knew we were always meant to, like, there's orcs and Tyranids and chaos attacking everything all the time. There's always shit going on. So it's bound for one of these planets for them to come to. It's going to be being attacked. It's already destroyed. Something's happening. And that's going to either lead them on the hunt or right into the battle. And they feel immediately, they're like, it's prophecy. This was ordained thousands of years ago, and we were always meant to be here. And I think I've said that a few times, but that's how they show up. So when they show up, generally, let's just say the citizens of the Imperium and the PDF and whoever's on the planet that are fighting the orcs, the chaos, the Tyranids, whatever, they see some red and black space marines that show up, and they're just kind of like, oh yeah, sweet, okay, whatever, they're fighting with us, okay. I have no idea who this chapter is, but whatever, like, are they communicating with us? No, but they're fighting with us, so okay, all right. And then they just kind of leave. And then the Bloodhounds just kind of leave. Like, they don't, take thanks. They don't, talk to the generals. They don't do that. They might find, like, some of the Marines that were on the field, they might even go and hand select. They'll be like, this guy, and they'll like pretty much abduct people. They'll be like, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and they just kind of bring them with them. Like, when they go down, they fight, they save the day. They bring some people with them, just kind of by force. They're going, you, and then pull them into their ships and fly off. And that's how they restock on Marines, and how they get to place. Now, some planets, some places, they just kind of, they don't really think of it as anything. They're just going to go, oh, they were just Space Marines. Some other planets that never have seen Space Marines before, they make statues and shit, and they fucking worship them after that. And then people are like, who the fuck are these guys? And it's like, we don't know. They showed up and disappeared. Other people might think they're a Blood Angel chapter, or maybe some type of Black Templar. They're not wrong. Except for technically with the Black Templar, because that would be then derivative of. But either way, I digress. So they go up to place, and generally they just kind of disappear. They'll fight the Imperium, like this. They just like kind of any other. Like, they'll fight the Imperium if they smell something that doesn't smell right. They'll fight a planet. Why not? They'll fight a planet. They'll fight the Imperium. They'll fight other Space Marine chapters, Space Wolves and Bloodhounds. Excuse me, Space Wolves and Bloodhounds don't like each other. And what else? I mean, like, there's all sorts of things where they don't get along with people in the Imperium, but they fight with them. Like, they are allies to the Imperium. Like, technically, they're a renegade chapter if you had to classify them. Soldiers that try at least work alongside the salamanders and mingle with other tend to hit or miss with interactions. The Imperiums at large. But there are, I think I've mentioned in one of my videos, there are people who have tried to prove that they exist, but they've never really had anything definitive, like some blurry or broken, pictoglyphs or whatever, or something stupid. I was gonna make up some gibberish, some videos, like with static and shit, and, like some confessions and things like that. But they never really had anything concrete. When I was first starting off with Slaith, when he was a character in the Necromunda kind of universe, let's just say, there was supposed to be an Inquisitor that was kind of tracking him down on the streets of Necromunda, trying to prove that he existed. And Slaith was always that one step ahead of him. And he was like the John Cena of Necromunda 40K universe. You can't see me, And introducing John Cena. Da, 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 da. Like blurry videos, yeah, stuff like that, pretty much. If there was like ships that were destroyed, they would pretty much have, pieces, like a red. Like, we have this red piece of like a Space Marine scout ship. Wow, yeah, you've got a lot of proof there. Inquisitor, whatever, and then next week it's like, so Inquisitor, whatever, you are scheduled for servitorization because you're a dumbass. And then he'd pretty much be like, no, they're totally real. They're totally real. He turns into like Benjamin Sisko at that point. They're real. They're real. As it gets dragged off and his brain drilled out, So I better get back writing this story soon, but It seems like, unfortunately, my cat has fallen asleep on the story. It looks like she has decided that the story that I'm writing, that I'm onto the computer, is the place where she wants to sit down and fall asleep. So, okay. I have done a very good job of avoiding writing, which is why I should get some water. Unfortunately, I do not have more beers, the more Rolling Rocks. Tonight is a Rolling Rockless night. Maybe, possibly this weekend, I might have another. I might not be live streaming this weekend, depending on my plans if they change. I might be going off and having a lake time adventure, teaching the little family members how to do kneeboarding and tubing and all sorts of lake time summer fun. So maybe I'll get some video of that in the future. Maybe not, because, that'd be kind of weird. But, yeah. Well, at least somebody in the comments, at least Pablo's been drinking. So this will be your drink until self-destruction while watching. We'll all now watch you. Come on, everybody. He's drinking. Okay. How long has the stream been going? Because last time when I made the stream too long, I wasn't able to edit it. Okay, it's an hour and a half so far. All right. It's not too bad. All right. Sorry to wake you up. I need you to move. I'm going to need you to move. All right. So this is a picture that I made of a character back when I was in, grade 8 or grade 7. You can see the obvious anime influence, and The Matrix Reloaded had just come out, or The Matrix, the third one came out. And so this is Leo, and he has a blinker on, kind of like Neo from The Matrix. Oh my God. So here is the librarian I had written down for my 3rd edition Bloodhounds. Prepare to puke. Weapon skill 8, ballistic skill 4, wounds 9, strength 8, toughness 4, attacks 4, initiative 8, leadership 10, 2-up save. He's got a force axe, a plasma pistol, a psychic hood, artificer armor, refractor shield, bionics. He's got teleporting or jump pack, mastercrafted weapons. So I guess that just means all of his weapons are mastercrafted. Frag and crack grenades. Special rules, the search for Arrow. When Arrow left for the chaos. What the fuck was that? What the fuck was I writing? When Arrow left for the chaos, Leo searched for him through space for years. When Arrow returned, Leo confronted Arrow and barely defeated him. This caused Leo to partially go insane and still search for him. To represent this, the Dark Angels search for the Fallen. Leo counts as an HQ and a troops. He counts as an HQ and a troops. Okay. Oh, yeah. Fallen. Oh, and it doesn't stop there. Leo has all Imperial psychic powers, even those of special characters. These are found in Codex Imperial Guard, Space Marines, Witch Hunters, Demon Hunters, and all their supplements. Blind with sight. Arrow slashed Leo's eyes in their battle. Leo's powers changed the very way he sees changed the way he sees after that. Changed the way. Okay. Wow. Benefits. Gets a free shot. What? Gets a free shit? Once per turn at any infiltration in shooting enemies. Connect. Use cover bonuses in my way. Get out of my way. Disadvantages. Does not get assault bonus. Cannot use cover. Oh, wow. Wow. That's bad. At least my writing has improved since I was like 13. Although I do have some Japanese that I wrote in here, including Fuku-yuku. Fuku-yu! Of course, you always have to write fucking stupid things in Japanese. All right, so back to the story. So where were we? My father and I had never been to New Vermenti before. We had always lived I think that should be like lived in the region's habitat. That just sounds weird still, though. In the region's habitat. Okay, apparently I have caps on. Thanks, Cap. In the region's habitat, which had small homes for large groups of families. It felt strange leaving the family, but I'm just not a farmer. I want to help people. The speeder cab slowed to a stop. And started a slow vertical descent. My father turned back to look me in the eyes. Super Mario, you are my only kid. His face was sad and worried. I think I'm going to change sad because that's really. I'm going to get rid of sad, but I'll just put it in there for now. Sad and worried at the same time. Okay. You know what, Devron? Oh, now we're on page 2. Oh my God! You know, Devron. You could still go back. Could always. Well, always use you on the field. Oh. Sounds like he wants to come into war. Use you on the field, boy. Grow some hair in your chest. Let's use you in the field. I looked out my window again and saw a small group of the priests. Lining up outside. The ancient stone building. Outside the ancient stone building. I looked back to him and told him. You're not supposed to read it like that, but I'm just kind of writing it down. So, of course, it's going to sound weird when I'm reading it in reading it and writing it and reading it and writing it. Looked at the window and told him, "No, father." This is what I must do. Why is he like so into it? I must do this. The cab landed in front of the stairs leading to the priests. I pushed past flags to open the door. Fresh air felt good on my sweat. Soaked. My legs ached as I climbed out. But it was relaxing. It was, I don't know if it was relieving. That actually sounds better. It was relieving. But relaxing. To be able to stretch. Then, after 3 hours, after 3 hours in the speeder, the priests, the top staircase, began to walk in line down towards us and the speeder. Don't forget. Okay, now he's like, his dad's like Vegeta. Don't forget your luggage. Don't forget your luggage. Before as my father said to me before paying my driver. First advised my father help me. As my father, he stack the bags and cases. You must be Mr. Medea. Welcome to New Vermenti. Or would this be old Vermenti? Because this seems to be at like the base of New Vermenti. I guess maybe it's the same place. I don't know. I'm not really decided. My father, humble. Father was humble. Walked over to the priest to shake his hand. I guess people still do that. I don't know. Please call me Jason. Apparently his name is Jason. But it's going to be totally relevant. Why did you say that name? Why did you say Jason? With a smile. And this must be Devra. We heard all about him. Our priests. And this must be Devran. Her father wanted you to have this. Any pleasing things about where you things about you. Oh. I looked to my father and I was like, what the fuck, bro? Looked to my father. He had a smug, what did he like lie? He had a smug look on his face, a smug smile on his face. It was on his face. Is it true? Did the castle run in less than 12 parsecs? You wanted to be a priest since you were little. Oh, well. Oh, my God. My father was climbing back into the cab, watching me with a smile. I looked back to the priest. I've always wanted to help people. Sleepy cat. Sleepy cat, are you a sleepy cat? Sleepy cat, it's not your fault. Do it. Oh shit. Okay, but I think I really need to get some water though. Okay, so I'm getting in some water. Got 2 pages done out of 36. I don't think I'm gonna get them all done today, but that's okay. But essentially, this story was just like me coming up with a backstory for one of the little models I used for like an Inquisimunda game, pretty much. You kidding? Well, that guy said he sent me a comment. So, well, I'm going to. They sent me a message, rather. Hold on, let's see. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to find that. Studio. Maybe on my channel. Channel. Oh, I got some excitement going on outside. What's going on outside? Oh. Somebody's mad. Oh, I guess he's gone. All right, so I have no idea how to check messages. YouTube settings, notifications, advanced settings, library, my channel subscriptions, browse channels. I have no idea where to find it. Well, let's see. I've gotten 2 pages done in 2 hours because most of us have been just bullshit talking. So I guess I'm going to wrap this up in the next like 10 minutes just so I can keep this under 2 hours and make sure that I can edit it if I need to. So, yeah, I was going to see if I can try to find the settings, though, for messages. Because for some reason, I cannot find them. So I have no idea where that was sent to. Discussion. No. It's not on my channel. So I'm not quite sure where the messages went, unfortunately. Can't really find it. I'm not sure. Because there used to just be like a mail-in box. So, I don't know. I don't know. All right. So, yeah, I guess I'm 2 pages in, which is kind of sad. That's pathetic. If I get more done, I might just do that off screen just so I can get it done quickly. Because really, I mean, I'm sure this has really been entertaining. But yeah, I'm going to leave that there. Just kind of just get a video done. It's not the best video, but something kind of 40K. Which that's a bad excuse. I should make some better quality videos. I should do that. I have the scripts around somewhere, and I just need to finish revising one of them. I had a bunch of other scripts, but I can't find them. I was trying to find them today. Like there was like a Mr. Space Marine makes base cookies and stuff like that. So it was all over the place. There was a bunch of different things. Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna leave this here for now. And well, all right. I'm gonna leave it there.